Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Hi again, everybody. My name is Christine A.R. Illichman. I'm Communications Coordinator for the School of Information Sciences at Wayne State University. Thanks for joining us for this first lunchtime webinar of the fall semester. As you may know, we have done these in the past, and we usually try to feature our alumni, our library faculty, our library and information school faculty, as well as the staff of the Wayne State University Library System. And today we are featuring Alison Stankrauff. Alison Stankrauff is a 2002 graduate of the School of Information Sciences at Wayne State. She earned her MLIS with a focus in archival administration during her time in Detroit. Alison has worked in archives across the Midwest, and in 2017, she kind of had a homecoming of sorts. She returned to Wayne State as our university archivist. Her return to Wayne State happened to coincide with the 150th anniversary celebration of Wayne State, and the archives have played a really important role in the reflection process as we look back on our university's history. We're fortunate to have Alison with us today as she shares more details about the role of the archives in celebration planning and gives us a look at some of the historical gems that the archives hold. So go ahead and take it away, Alison.
Okay, thank you so much. This is a big thank you for inviting me to be part of the Wayne State University School of Information webinar, and the first in the year. As a Wayne State alum, that means a lot to me, and thank you everybody too for joining, and I'll try to keep us on time, particularly because you guys are sacrificing your lunch hour to listen to me talk, so thank you all. So you heard a little bit about me. So I've been at Wayne State University as a professional employee for just over 1 year. And you heard I'm a Wayne State grad, graduating in 2002 when this was still the School of Library and Information Science. I am, I think, now comfortable with calling it SIS, and it was just a little bit of a changeover for my brain. So just a fast little snapshot of me while I was at Wayne State before I became a professional employee here when I was a student. I started the program in '99. I, as you hear, graduated in 2002. I worked first at Purdy Library and then at Interlibrary Loan when ILL was still at Purdy. And then my sort of the second half of my time working through the degree, I worked here at the Reuther Library, so the Walter P. Reuther Library of Labor and Urban Affairs is our official title. While at ILL, I worked with both borrowing and lending, and that was just before things went all electronic. That was a great experience. When I was at the Reuther here as a student worker, I worked with the Detroit News and Free Press collection, part of a huge team that came after me. I was in the sort of first layer when most of those images are now in the amazing virtual Motor City site. So I encourage you guys, if you haven't looked at it yet, take a look at it. You can search it a million ways and come up with incredible photos of Detroit through the decades. And I worked also with the National Association of Letter Carriers materials. Those are the folks who carry our mail through rain, sleet, snow, storm, all of that jazz. And I also helped put together the first exhibit for the Society of Women Engineers. So those were all super formative experiences here at Wayne State. And if you're looking at the slide that I just put on, this is actually a PowerPoint for a talk that I'm going to touch on coming up, but I'm being shameless and recycling content here. So forgive the heading, because you guys are just as important as the upcoming event Knowledge on Tap. When I graduated in 2002, my first professional experience was to be a reference archivist at the American Jewish Archives in Cincinnati. I was there from 2002 to 2004. And then from 2004 to, as you heard last summer, until July 2017, I was the archivist, and I was the one and only archivist on the campus, as well as one of 7 librarians, an associate librarian at Indiana University South Bend. Both of those jobs were pretty incredible and really helped shape me as a professional, and I enjoyed them immensely. I have to say, though, when the university archivist position came available here at Wayne State University, particularly because it's my alma mater, I applied, and I was so pleased to be accepted and to come back to work here at the Ruther. So, you know, I started in September 2017. As you heard, I joined the Ruther and the university just ahead of Wayne State's sesquicentennial year. Wayne State is celebrating 150 years in the heart of Detroit, which I think is a perfect motto, and that is what the university uses. As I am quite literally, I'm proud to be part of helping that celebration happen. I had helped my previous campus, Indiana University South Bend, celebrate what we called its Jubilee year, 100 years of offering IU classes in the city of South Bend. And also in tandem, the entire 7-campus IU system celebrates its bicentennial in 2020. So my last few years with Indiana University had me doing a lot of birthday planning, and I really love planning events and letting people know about history and getting, informing people about the amazing history of people, places, things. It's one of the things that draw me to the profession. I was glad to come here to Wayne State to kind of continue that trajectory. When I came here in September of last year to Wayne, I came here with a vision of doing a series of events that were arenas to highlight wider societal trends and place Wayne State in them. These have taken shape in the Sesquicentennial panel discussions that we've had all year. We've had 2 thus far and 3 to go. In March, for Women's History Month, we had a panel on Title IX and Wayne State's part in that. In June, for Pride Month, we had a panel on local LGBTQ history and Wayne State's students and staff's part in that through the decades. These first 2 panels were both standing room only, and we had to, pull chairs from the outside actually into each room for both of them. We have 2 coming up next month, one on UAW history and Wayne State, and then another on farm workers and Wayne State connections. And I am glad to share information on these panels with anyone who's interested. November, we're having a panel on what is now known as Preservation Detroit and how so many of the beautiful historic buildings on Wayne State's campus were saved thanks not to faculty or staff action, but instead because of student activism. So I'd really love to see all of you if you're in the metro area at our October and November panels, and you can let me know and I can give you details. more than happy to do that. In addition to the panels that I envisioned, I also got to work right away when I came here to Wayne with a team of colleagues to do extensive research, writing, and amalgamation to put the exhibit up that we've got here in the archives in our atrium, Wayne State at 150. And for any of you who walk past or drive past or bike past the Reuther here on Cass Avenue, you see a huge mural up on the side of our building. It welcomes you into this exhibit. It was really great to do this process. It was teamwork, it was masterminding just how to look at and talk about such a large, comprehensive urban research university at 150 years, and how we could tell that story as extensively and compellingly as possible. It was a big challenge, but it was a fun one. What we ended up doing was looking at the pillars of the university's mission statement, which one is create and advance knowledge, the second is prepare a diverse student body, the fourth is positively impact local and global economy. And then we have some standalone pillars that cover athletics, student activities, campus buildings and architects, and lastly, notable alumni. Another challenge, of course, with these huge ideas and people, places, things, is that we had to keep the captions at 75 words. That was very challenging to distill these huge accomplishments, ideas, personalities, etc., into such a small set of words. I hope we did so, successfully. There's been good feedback from folks who have cycled through the exhibit and seen it. So we worked with an outside media company to pull the content together. We also extensively talked with several campus schools, units, and offices to pull that research together for the exhibit. So it's up here at the Reuther in the atrium, as I say, i.e. the lobby, until the end of the year. So I'd love for anybody who's in the area to stop in during any of our open hours, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to come see it. So come see us, come see the exhibit, because a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, mostly not tears, went into that. No blood, luckily. I've been involved with a lot of campus-wide and libraries-wide committees to help celebrate the university's sesquicentennial too. So we've been really busy in various ways of putting Wayne State's history out there through several events and promotional spots through this whole year through those bodies. So one is that we did a Wayne State Insiders event very early in the sesquicentennial year. That was like our first 150 event. That's a monthly event that the university holds. It's open to the community as well as the campus community to have people learn about different parts of campus and what those schools, units, offices do and offer. So that was really, really fun. We put out some of the university's most fun and interesting items from the university archives for display and discussion. And I'll say, it's a fairly nasty and super cold day on February, and we had a very full house. We actually had to split the crowd into sort of 2 shifts and cycle them up through the building. Sort of first batch of people, then the second batch. So I think we can probably call that a good success. A lot of good questions, and those events always create a lot of good obviously connections, and for me as university archivist, that's particularly important to always be connecting with people, and it's something that I really love to do. Another thing that the 150 has spurred is something that I hope has legs after this year, and that is to do oral histories. Earlier this month, my colleague Rod Fiore, who's the library's Director of Community Engagement and Outreach, and I did a Student Stories, is what we called it, at the Wayne State Library's game night, which was completely packed at the undergraduate library. So we used the library's Whisper booth at UGL, which is soundproof booth, to create a space for students to tell their own stories as current Wayne State students. We considered it a pilot project, and like I say, we're hoping to continue collecting more Wayne State related stories from students, alum, and current and emeriti staff and faculty. And our next kind of running of this event is going to be at the Sesquicentennial final fiesta, which I'll talk about in a second. Another thing that I'm doing for the 150 is I'm working with the Dean of Students Office, aka DOSO, which oversees all of the student groups on campus. And we're creating a by students for students time capsule that will debut at the end of this year with student group submissions. And that's been a really rewarding thing that I've gotten to do. It's fun. I love working with students. When I was at IU, I taught for 13 years. I don't do that here, and I, had a lot of interaction with students, and I have less here, but I want to do more kind of outreach like this. So this, working with the time capsule for students and getting those voices recorded has been really fun, because I've gotten to work with this diverse range of student groups and student leaders to think forward on this, and it's a really collective process. And I opened up the opportunity for SIS students, so if you're listening, join in, to help this process go forward. So once we get all of the content for the capsule, we can properly preserve it and document it. We're working on where it will be displayed, and it will be displayed. It'll either be here at the undergraduate library on campus, maybe at the Ruther, or the Student Center. And the plan is to have it open in 50 years' time at the university's bicentennial. So it's like I say, it's been very fun to do that. I do a ton of reference work as university archivist, and that's for sure one of the very favorite things that I do, as all the different parts of my job. I love helping people with information, connecting people with material that helps them answer questions, progress their research, helps them with questions about their family, etc. This sesquicentennial has been a huge year for questions. A lot of my quote-unquote customers are internal, so university schools, offices, and units. So many of them through this year are looking at their own individual histories and their part in the larger history of the university and just how they fit into that story. So that's been a really great opportunity for me to, as you hear, help people, obviously, and also to connect with my campus community. And I get to learn more about the university that's both my alma mater and, that I'm university archivist for. So That has been lots of fun. One example of this is that, like, the School of Medicine Gala was this past weekend, and I worked pretty extensively with them earlier this year to put content together for material that they had available to attendees. This was a fundraiser, and it's notable that Wayne State clocks our year of 150 years in the city with the creation of the School of Medicine back in 1868. So it's kind of a, you know, well, it was an important event in lots of ways. So one other thing that I'm doing, so you've seen this PowerPoint that I'm sharing with you guys, and sort of doling out these images from the University Archives. On October 16th, I've been asked to do Wayne State's monthly Knowledge on Tap. This is put on by Marketing and Communications, and it's an opportunity for the university to highlight its talents, innovations, initiatives, and open that to the community. It's at Hopcat Brewing, which is close to campus on Woodward, at 6 p.m. that day. So I'll be talking about Wayne State at 150 years. So again, if you're in the metro area, I encourage you to come and get a burger, a beer, join the conversation. It's informal and it's fun, and I hope you will find it interesting. Another thing, I worked, the archives were part of the libraries here at Wayne State. And I worked with a really great colleague in the libraries, Alison Greenlee. So the two Alisons, we spell our name the same way too. We did a subject of the month for the libraries that students used that focused on women's history in March. And we loaded the platform that Wayne State uses, which is SpringShare, with archival images and links to archival collections here at Wayne State that focus on the female experience here at the university. Again, this was super fun to pull all of this content together. And actually, if you're looking at the webinar interface right now, the Alpha Kappa Alpha picture is the one that we chose for the sort of signature photo for subject of the month. Which is, you know, AKAs are still one of our biggest and most important sororities here on campus. And the Ruther has a new podcast that's focused on our collections. The podcast ready to debut next week on October 5 will focus on the world famous local architect Minoru Yamasaki. Yamasaki created many iconic structures all over the world, including the Twin Towers. He also constructed 4 of Wayne State's most important and beautiful buildings, and I'm sure all of you know them very closely. They're definitely some of my favorites on campus. I did a podcast with my colleague Shay Rafferty, who's our Labor and Urban Affairs Archivist, who so Shay focuses on Yama, and he's known as Yama's biography and other architectural accomplishments more widely all over the world. And I focus obviously on the 4 iconic structures that are part of Wayne State's campus that he created. We wanted to spotlight this for the Sesquicentennial year. So there's that coming up. You can tune into it. We also did another podcast that I did with Grace Sarah, who's the curator for art here at Wayne State's campus. She's fantastic also, and we focused on the history of the university's mace, which is housed here at the archives, and that gets trucked out every commencement, to go across the stage and help Wayne State students graduate. So those have been really fun. And I mentioned the end of the year party that Wayne State is holding to close the Sesquicentennial year. So that's coming up on Friday, October 26th. Probably many of you, if you're part of the Wayne State community, you've seen invitations. It's open to the community as well. So hopefully Wayne State's marketing is getting it widely out there. I think they are. You know, I've been in on those conversations on the campus-wide Sesquicentennial Committee, and you know, they have a wide reach. So please visit us. It's going to be an opportunity for current students, alumni, staff, faculty, and as I say, to the community at large, to both celebrate and learn more about just how amazing Wayne State University is, and how it has been that shining urban research university all of these decades. So it'll be in the heart of campus from 4:30 to 11 p.m. with various events and sort of targeted towards different audiences. There'll be food, there'll be music, there'll be like face painting for kids. It's definitely, you know, family friendly. There's going to be like a huge DJ dance party for students and really anybody else who wants to join, you know, wrap the night up. So it'll be a total fiesta. So join us at that. All of the university's various research units, schools, departments, offices, and student groups will be there. So join us at that party. And I think that might be it for me. So I welcome questions that folks have. And again, thank you so much for this opportunity to be talking.
For joining us today, Alison. We really appreciate it. Are there any questions from anyone? I don't see anything in the chat box, but I just want to give you all a second to post any questions you might have.
Oh, and I should say, Christine was nice enough to load my resume in the chat box. So if you want to, you know, take a look at my Vita and kind of see my path in there, that's great.
Alison, thanks again so much for being here today and helping us kick off the semester. And thanks to all of you who are attending today and participating as well.